Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Stand By Face podcast, the show where we talk about all things Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Aaron, and with me as always is my co-host,
Jared Evans.
Today we are going to go over all the new archetypes for the Grand Creator set coming out in a couple weeks. We've got the YCS here in the background for you as well. There's 3 archetypes we're going over: Punk, Exorcisters, and Brave tokens.
Seeing a lot of Sword Soul.
Yeah. A lot of Sword Soul. I've seen a lot of Sword Soul. A lot of Sword Soul fall to other decks like Fluunderies and Drytron. It's been interesting to watch this one.
Yeah, but they're still dominating. That and Tri-Brigade Lyralist, I've seen that all over the place too. Like, it's not hard to tell what everybody thinks are the best decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the occasional trolls that want to come in with, a lower tier deck and see if they can, whoop up on the quote unquote better decks, like Fluunderies and Drytron and stuff like that. The Drytron player even said, he was like, if we were going to be in person, I was going to play a totally different deck. He only did that for the remote duel stuff. So
yeah,
that was pretty funny. See, everybody's signing in token collectors too. I've seen that a lot today.
Yeah, that's been pretty frequent today. So, but hold on,
I'll be curious to see all the deck profiles after the tournament get released next week. Hopefully, we're gonna have a ban list on Monday too. We're recording this on the 16th, so hopefully tomorrow we'll have a
full ban list out.
That'd be great. Unfortunately, I mean, we never know when Konami is gonna release it, but
yeah.
A lot of cool stuff going on. We got a lot to go over today, so why don't we go ahead and jump into this. So with Grand Creators, that's right around the corner. To be more specific, it is coming out on the 28th.
2 weeks from now. Ish.
So, get back to my page here. So we have the 3 main archetypes. We didn't want to jump into like a full set discussion because that's kind of all over the place. What I mean by that is going over like every card.
Yeah.
That's widely available now. So, we'll let you guys look up that on your own. We wanted to focus on the 3 main archetypes, which are Punk, Exorcisters, and of course the Brave token stuff. So, I'll be curious to see the new support that comes out for this. But let's get started with the Punk archetype.
All right. So, Punk. It's essentially a series of level 3 psychic earth tuners. Most of them, they pay 600 life points to activate their effects, some of which allow you to fusion, some of which allow you to add spell from deck to hand, that sort of thing. Not really going to go over each individual card and their effects, but I did want to my review of this is more of what kind of play would we see this, or what kind of inboards would we be seeing at tournaments if someone were to play this deck. Essentially from what I'm seeing, and I know we talked about a little of this before the podcast, but I'm seeing a lot of stuff that's very similar to Infernoble Knights, in the way of the Auroradon combo. Some of the inboards include stuff like Auroradon Savage, Shooting Riser Dragon, Auroradon Savage, Abyss Dweller. One even had Auroradon, Borreload Savage, Invoked Caliga, and Amazing Dragon, which is their new synchro. So essentially it is just a big synchro deck that has its fusion monster in there as well. If you were to play this kind of, just kind of a pure Punk build, your bread and butter combo, your inboard is going to be Amazing Dragon with Rising Carp. Because essentially they use the effects of the pay 600 to fusion summon. You fusion summon Rising Carp, couple effects later, you get out Amazing Dragon. Amazing Dragon brings back Rising Carp, and that's your inboard. That and hopefully the trap card.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It looks like... So I like that they have a searchable trap card that is pretty solid. It negates the effects of your opponent's monster. Then you gain life points based on its original attack. So yeah, that's. I mean, I like that. The combos that I've seen, the win condition was definitely Amazing Dragon. How you can bounce, 2 to 3 cards from your opponent's side of the field back to their hand, and you can synchro summon him on your opponent's turn. So I really like that, but I hope we get more extra deck monsters in the future from them, because we only have the 2. A fusion and then a synchro. That's it.
Yeah, they're really relying on other cards for their inboards. A big component of this is that they have e-tele to use to help them get the cards that they need to the field to get these boards. Yeah, they just don't really have a lot going for them. So I don't see this being anything big until we get some proper support.
Yeah, I wonder if we really are going to see emergency teleport come to 3 on the ban list for this deck. That's what everybody's saying. We already know that e-tele is getting a reprint in this set. It's a rare. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it did. This deck definitely needs it for consistency. The good news is that it actually has, it looks like 4 main monsters that it wants to open in its hand with.
Yeah.
It does have 2 level 8s.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of combos start off with at least one of those level 3 psychics and 1 level 8 monster. That's usually a good opening hand if you see those.
Yeah, both level 8s actually seem to have a relatively easy way to get them onto the field also.
Well, and then through your extra deck monsters, don't get me wrong, the synchro and the fusion monsters, they're good effects. They're, the synchro is at 3,000, so it's a good beat stick, and they're easy summons, but it just seems like this deck has too many choke points. It could be just because I haven't studied the deck enough, but from what I've seen, this is a very combo heavy deck, kind of like Infernobles. So it may have quite a few choke points. You could still probably make some play, but you're not ever gonna. It may not get the big board that you want.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to need an opening hand of at least 2 of the level 3 monsters. Or at very, very least, you're going to need to be able to get to at least 2 of them, through e-tele or whatever.
Oh. Sorry, we experienced some technical difficulties there for a second. What were we saying?
Well, I just think my personal opinion is we just need
more support.
Well, yeah, definitely more support, but specifically it needs another win condition besides Amazing Dragon, the Synchro 11. So Rising Carp it looks like it's just used as an extender. It's not going to do anything for you when it's on the field.
But this is also a deck that's easy to utilize Anaconda DPE combo. So,
what deck isn't?
Yeah, no. So other than maybe the DPE or ending with like a Auroradon, Borreload Savage type board, it's gonna be kind of the same 2, maybe 3 end boards. And they're very predictable in what they're gonna do.
Yeah, and it's difficult to say because of we're not really seeing a whole lot of experimentation with it yet. What I've seen is mostly pure builds with the synchro engine, like you're talking about, and that's pretty much it. So I don't know if we're going to see a lot of variation with it because it looks like you need to open up multiple punk names in your hand.
Yeah, well, and it's sad because I saw a couple variation videos, but they were very much they were very bricky.
Yeah,
like they were in this one condition, yeah, it could do something really cool, but if you didn't pull the one right card, it wasn't going to happen. So that's why I think Punk is probably going to be the weaker of the 3 archetypes we're getting.
Possibly. So,
well, and now maybe not the weaker, but from what I've seen, and we'll get into this in a minute, Brave Token is thrown into other decks. to
it's
be
more of
used.
an engine,
It's more of an engine, not a deck on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Punk could very much be a deck on its own, sort of. You
Yes.
still have to add a few things, but it's its own thing. But it's kind of weak on its own.
That's why I was saying it needs more extra deck monsters, because it needs a better.
Which are we supposed to get at least one later, or was that a main deck monster?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't seen any new Punk monsters announced. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Moving on to Exorcister, that one, me being a Drytron player, I kind of hate. Exorcister it's a control style, so you're not going to build a board or anything like that. But the really cool scenario is that Exorcister is going to lock your opponent out of the graveyard. So you can't special summon from the graveyard. It's extra deck monsters cannot be destroyed from a monster that was special summoned from the graveyard, at least by battle. For everybody that knows Drytron, which is my main deck that I'm playing right now, I summon from the graveyard a lot. And to just straight up lock me out of activating effects in the graveyards, like that was just a killer. Like, I wound up losing those matches against Exorcister. The situation, like if I was to go first and I build my board with Drytron, then I win. They don't have enough ways to break your board yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're going to see a little bit more support come out for Exorcister also. But if they can go first and then set it up against the right matchup, they're really strong. Against other matchups that don't use the graveyard at all, then Exorcister is going to have a really hard time dealing with any deck like that. So it's going to be really situational. I love the idea that we're seeing with this. It just needs a little bit more support. Its win condition is definitely just a control lock style from the graveyard. So, I mean, just off the top of my head, I mean, a lot of the top decks right now use their graveyard.
Yeah.
Sword Soul, Tri-Brigade, Drytron. Heck, even Eldridge uses the graveyard, zombie stuff. So this is going to be like a format dependent type of deck. If decks start arising that don't use the graveyard, then Exorcister is just not going to get played.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. But right now, in this particular format, I think we could actually see more Exorcister than we do Punk.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like Exorcister could probably do some damage, but like you said, they just don't have enough ways to break their board. They definitely got more extra deck and more to come after this set. They've already announced, I think, one or two. I want to say Dimension Force, but I don't know.
Now the main decks that I've seen playing Exorcister, they're more of a pure build. Their strongest monster is only 2,500 attack, so that is a problem dealing with decks that get strong monsters on the field. Now they do have a target banish with their extra deck, which is cool, or one of their extra deck monsters. But if going up against something like Dragoon that can't be targeted, they don't have any way to out something like that.
Yeah.
Now the good news is they can naturally also play Dragoon or also play DPE. But
well, since it is an XZ's deck, they could technically go with Zeus.
They could go with Zeus as well. Yeah, that's true. But other than that, that seems to be the problem that they have. All their spells and traps are searchable by their main monsters. It's obviously a pure rank 4 spam. I do not believe that their effects lock you into Exorcister monsters. Give me one quick second.
No, they're all 2 level 4 monsters. So no, these aren't.
So maybe you can,
We'll probably see a lot of the XYZ monsters splashed into other decks instead of going a pure Exorcister build. You think?
I don't know. I have not seen that yet. They are all. You're right. I mean, they're all generic 2 level 4s. You still need to run. I mean, I guess you don't have to. I was going to say the main monsters are going to search their spells and traps.
Mm-hmm.
One of their extra deck monsters searches their spells and traps. They do lock you out of the graveyard. This one does. Extra Sister,
Mm-hmm.
as Asophil. I don't know how to. I don't want to mess up the names. I mean, I do like how the engine runs. You summon, one of the basic rank 4s, and then you can overlay onto the bigger one, and then you can detach and summon the next one that way by their extra monster zone or their extra deck monsters effects. So, and you can do that on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
And then banish whenever it's summoned, that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool, but yeah, I don't know what kind of new support it really needs, to be honest with you, because it's just going to whittle you away. It's not.
Yeah.
It's never going to OTK you in a turn. But it definitely is hard to deal with the right matchup. You know what I mean? Like if they aren't prepared. I lost to it, so.
What were you playing?
Drytron. Yeah.
Dang. I might pick this deck up just to mess with you.
Yeah, I have some stuff to say about picking the decks up here in a little bit too. Moving on to the Brave token stuff. This one is getting the most hype out of everything.
So I do want to say, as far as what I've seen out of these archetypes coming from the OCG, Punk was in it for a little bit, but it was, from what I saw, it was splashed with other decks. Exorcister, like I said, this is all from what I've seen in the research that I've done, so I could be totally wrong. Exorcister wasn't seen a whole lot, about as much as Punk was, if not less. Brave token, however, has lasted for some time now, but only by being thrown into things like Phantom Knights. There's a whole different list of different mix-ups and crossovers and stuff that people have done with their decks. As far, I forget what they were, but there was 3 different archetypes. It was a Phantom Knight, Brave token, and something else at the same time. And I don't know how well that's going to translate into the TCG because things are a little different, but I do think that gives us a bit of a decent indication as to what we might see.
Yeah, I think everybody is definitely going to be chasing the Brave token engine over everything. Hang on, I'm looking into. I'm multitasking while we're doing this here. Okay, so with the Brave token stuff, obviously they do synergize really well with the Phantom Knights stuff. I don't believe there's any additional support on the way for the Brave token engine. I don't think. If you've seen some, let me know. I have not seen any announced, and I don't think I've seen any in the OCG. I haven't spent a whole lot of time looking into that personally, but just to give a quick overview, they have a searchable Omni Negate. When you have no monsters on the field, or if you have a token, you can special summon this guy, which is really cool. Their tokens are actually really strong. They're 2,000 attack, level 4s. One of their spell cards searches the other, and vice versa, so it's got really good consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you also can get graveyard effects, so it pairs really well with Forbidden Droplets. So that's pretty much the common going second turn that I've seen is a Phantom Knight player with a Forbidden Droplet. They can send their own Phantom Knights and or their own Brave token stuff into the graveyard and then still get their effects off. Yeah. That's why the combos are so strong.
Yeah.
So against Exorcister, there you go. You can't do that. But maybe that's the kryptonite to the Brave token engine. I think there's more Brave token cards than there are any of the other 2 archetypes. They have 2 different field spells, both of them searchable. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the new thing that they're going to do with field spells moving forward, but this one is really one of the better versions of it because they're cycling between both field spells. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I want the Brave token stuff more than anything else
Yeah.
in the deck, but I think they're gonna be really expensive.
Well, I don't know. Apparently we don't have any secrets in this set this
Right.
time around.
Right.
Highest rarity is Ultra. So hopefully they're not short printing them too much. We can cross our fingers and pray and all that, but I don't know. Hopefully they won't be too expensive, but it wouldn't surprise me if at least was it 3 Ultras? It wouldn't surprise me if those were quite pricey.
Yeah, so check this out. The Brave token engine has 3 Ultras.
Mm-hmm. Looks like
Let me double check that real quick.
supers and the rest are rare. Or 3 supers.
And all 3 Ultras are being offered as collector rares as well. So yeah, 3 Ultras. Is that 3 supers? Yeah, the rest are rares. The Extra Sister has 3 Ultras, 3 supers, 4 supers, excuse me. And then Punk has,
That can't be right. Rising Carp is going to be a common?
yeah, or a rare, yeah.
Oh, you have it on the list as a common.
Oh, whoops. Typo. It's a rare. It is a rare for sure.
So, Amazing Dragon is Ultra, which is a shame. I feel like that would look really good as a secret.
The Punk has 3 Ultras too. So each deck has 3 Ultras. Extra Sisters 3. No. Brave token has 4 Ultras. I don't know. Everywhere I'm looking, everyone says that the cards are not going to be short printed.
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to get 3 to 4 Ultras per booster box. So I would like everyone to see of Forbidden Droplets in the last set and see how short printed that one was. So
Salty Jared's coming out, y'all.
a little bit. They say they don't short print stuff, and then they short print stuff, and then that's how we have a $100 reprint still on something like Forbidden Droplets. I guess we'll just wait and see. I think on sets like these, they aren't opened as much throughout the vendors. The vendors don't buy as many cases and stuff to sell, so we could actually see a fairly expensive cost on these. I hope not. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. I want them to be cheap, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. I do expect the Brave token stuff to lead the way as far as price goes. So these are probably going to be, I'm just guessing, $30 to $40 Ultras starting out, and they could go up or down depending on how bought they are.
Yeah, I don't see. I think you're right. Brave token is probably going to be the most sought after. Extra Sisters will be behind that, and Punk will be dead last. So I don't see Punk being a huge thing.
Yeah, I don't think either of the Extra Sisters or Punk is going to be very expensive to get. They might be at first, but they'll probably drop off while Brave token increases over time. So it is what it is. I'll probably try to buy the Brave token stuff first and just see how that goes price-wise. And then I'll always fall back on Extra Sister or something like that. I do like how that deck runs. So
yeah. Well, and I do see, like, as far as, like, Punk, I do see how maybe a couple of these cards, well, mainly the Amazing Dragon, the Synchro Monster, could be used in a different deck, but it would have to be one where you could utilize Psychic Monsters because of its effect. Because, I mean, you can return, you can return your opponent's monsters to the hand.
Virtual World.
Are those Psychic Monsters? There you go.
And they're synchro. Well, they do synchros anyway.
Yeah, and it only takes 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner to get it out. It's a level 11, so...
Yeah, they can, but they can't get to an 11 very easily, so... I don't know how well that's going to synergize with Virtual World. Because Virtual World, it bricks a lot now. You need to open a hand of multiple virtual world names. It's not a one card starter. That's the problem that the deck has. And I don't see Punk being that way either. It's same thing. So I don't think you're going to see those two cross over very much. I guess you could use the Synchro 11 in virtual world, but that's not really going to work because you need Punks in your graveyard or on the field to use this bounce effect.
No, you need level 3 psychics.
Oh, is that all it is?
It's level 3 psychics.
I thought they were level 3 Punks.
Yeah, but do Virtual World have level 3 psychics?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's if Synchro Summon, target as many monsters your opponent controls up to the number of level 3 psychic monsters with different names you control in your graveyard and return them to the hand. And then you can special summon one Punk monster from your graveyard.
Okay. So you wouldn't have a Punk in your graveyard to special summon, but I could see how it would be used. I don't know if it would be good enough for them to use it, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, I've seen virtual world players use the Trishula Synchro guy, so
Yeah.
and they have a Synchro 9 that they use, which is a floodgate. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a master at virtual world or anything like that, so I don't know if it's gonna synergize well with them or not. But they can benefit from a third emergency teleport coming off the list. I can tell you that.
They could, but we'll see if that happens because I'm still kind of in the thought process of I don't think it's coming back to 3. I think they're going to keep it at 2 for this next list. Maybe bring it to 3 later, but
I don't know if they want to sell the Punk. That's one of the better ways to do it. All of the big
Maybe.
YouTubers say so, man. You tell he's coming to 3. So one last thing to touch on. We don't always see decks in the OCG translate over here very well. So just because we see like Phantom Knight, Brave Token over there,
oh yeah,
that doesn't mean it's going to take off over here. It probably will. Honestly, I think it will. But we may see other engines using the Brave Token stuff.
Yeah. No, and
that we don't see over there.
Yeah, and I totally understand that. By no means do I ever think that what we get in the OCG or what they get in the OCG is what we get in the TCG. My thought is usually the top like 2 decks at the time, if they're brand new, it kind of gives an indication as to how they'll either drop off or pick up. You know what I mean? So not saying like, oh, because this deck is huge over there, it's huge over here. It's just more of like we can kind of give an indication as to how well it does against other decks because obviously their meta looks a little different than ours. So we can kind of gauge as to how well it'll do over here. I mean, Sword Soul was big over there for a time. Now the big deck is branded Despia, which which everyone really predicts that it's going to be big over here.
Yeah.
So
all because of
we'll
their
see.
fusion card. Yeah. My God.
Yeah, that deck is going to be bonkers.
Yeah, I think it's just so popular in with the Phantom Knights just because it has synergy in the graveyard and it gives a level of consistency to Phantom Knights that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
So I'm fully expecting that over here as well. On the competitive buyer, they're definitely going to go after the Brave Token stuff over the other two.
100%.
I think if somebody wants to be sneaky, I think they could pick up the Exorcister deck for a lot cheaper. You know, if somebody, obviously if they're not made out of money, they want to pick one of the 3 decks coming out of here to play. I would actually go for the Exorcister stuff because they have such a good matchup to multiple of the top decks now. So I think you could take that to your locals and, you know,
probably do fairly well.
Sneak some pretty easy wins, yeah.
I don't know how well you do at a like a YCS like we've got here, but I mean, you could probably do pretty well at a locals and win a mats there at your local shop and all that. So you could probably do pretty well.
It's definitely going to rely on the die roll because they do not break boards
100%,
well at all. That's the problem with the board now. But who knows? Maybe it'll get some more support and we might see that one take a step forward, or maybe we can see other decks mesh in with the Exorcister stuff to kind of give it a better.
Oh goodness!
Excuse me, I don't want to say consistency, but They just need a better wind condition.
Yeah. Don't worry,
So-
we're COVID free here.
Oh, you said one of the no words.
We have 23 subscribers. No one's gonna hear us.
So, but that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, didn't want to go over a full set spoiler. I mean, obviously, just to touch on it, we have the new Insector stuff coming out.
Yeah, from the create a card thing.
Yeah, and the new collector rares. Well, not new, but the collector rares for the set. Torrential Tribute, Solemn Strike. That's going to be collector rares. So people will be chasing those.
Yeah, it looks like a fairly decent set. I wouldn't say, I mean, it's beginning of the year, but I don't think this is going to be a contender for set of the year
Oh, no, definitely not. Definitely
by
not.
any means. The decks in it are somewhat mediocre, other than Brave Token being able to, be thrown in other things.
But at least we are getting stuff for the competitive player in this set, too.
Absolutely,
Not just, I don't even want to say casual. I mean, some of the sets last year just straight up sucked. So
Yeah.
this one is, on the right track to
Yeah.
being a good set this year.
Well,
So I
and,
think-
and like you said, I could see Exorcister being a cheaper deck and being one that could be played at locals and actually keep up a bit, win a few matches. So that could be a pretty decent budget deck. Obviously, we won't know until it comes out what the prices are going to be, but
I mean, yeah, look at our locals. That's running rampant with Tri Brigade and Sword Soul.
honestly, I
So-
thought about picking it up just for that.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Sword Soul, I think, is going to be a tough matchup for the Exorcisters, but Tri Brigade Lyrilless stuff might slow down quite a bit, and obviously it kills Drytron and kills Eldritch stuff, and I don't know, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm going to spend my money on the Brave tokens first, though.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know if my wallet's going to allow me to buy the Brave Token stuff. It like I said, it all just depends on how expensive these things are when they come out. But
Well, to wrap up the video, we talked about this last time, but I challenged Aaron to a tournament last
Tournament
time.
of Power.
Tournament of Power, yeah. We're still trying to come up with a name for it. Obviously, we don't want Dragon Ball to sue us for that name, but I'm gonna run through my decks. We're not gonna do a bracket style because we didn't want to be caught in a situation where Aaron is trying to run one of my decks while I'm running another, and then he doesn't know how to properly run it. So we're gonna do it as more of a
Elimination style.
exactly, yeah. So
Take it as like playing Pokemon, right? You've got your 6 Pokemon, they have their 6, and you kind of just whittle each other down until all your Pokemon are dead or one gives up, right? So we each have 5 decks, and whoever eliminates all the other's decks first is the winner. And it's a best 2 out of 3 for each duel, so it's a full game. And so what are your decks, Jared?
So I'm going to use Zombie Eldritch, specifically Zombie World Eldritch, Galaxy, Buster Blader, Thunder Dragon, and Emancipator.
I will be running Cyber Dragon, Altergeist, Earth Machine, Math Mech, and
Infernoble.
Infernobles. Yep.
Yep.
Wait, was it Infernobles?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So when I win, I'm going to try to think of a good punishment for Aaron. Now, why don't the audience let us know what is a punishment for the loser of this tournament?
My wife said she's going to be building us a trophy.
That'd be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
For me
We'll
to
see.
have.
We'll see if she actually does it. And we would like to make this an annual thing, so each year we'll come back around the same time and battle for the trophy.
Yeah, I want to come up with some really creative punishment ideas for whoever loses.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know yet. All of the ones that I can think of are pretty lame, like wearing a fish costume or having to, I don't know, just something funny. Like the next podcast episode we do, you have to do the whole thing with a big fish mask on, that you can't see out of. We can barely hear you talking. Something funny like that,
Yeah, those are lame. I'll come up with some better punishments.
Yeah, maybe we'll come up with like a punishment wheel, and you'll have to spin it and
One
land
of
on
them's going to
something.
say you got to streak through the Quick Trip parking lot in 14-degree weather.
Okay, I don't want to get arrested with any of these punishments, but But something funny. We'll create a poll or something like that to post on our social medias. So check out our Facebook specifically, and Twitter. Those are the ones we're using. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that and let us know. We need some ideas.
Yeah. And as always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you liked what you saw and what you would like to see in the future. And with that, I think we're going to close the show. We'll see you next time, guys.
Peace out.